What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video. Today we're going to be looking at some NHL trade rumors from Specters Hockey for August 13th. Now, there isn't a ton of trade stuff in here. Towards the end there is, but this is going to be mostly about the Avalanche. I think there's a little bit of stuff on some RFAs in here and the Calgary Flames. So let's waste no more time. Make sure to check the link down below for the article to get to read the article to see more, because this is my thoughts on what's in these pieces. And yeah, we're going to waste no time. So basically, the Mikko Rantanen talks is where we're going to be starting things, of course, of the Colorado Avalanche. Joe Sakic recently told NHL.com that he prefers signing Mikko Rantanen to a long-term contract, which, with the amount of cap space they have, it's very possible that they could do that. Because remember, as the years go on, players are going to want more money because you're eating up their UFA years and they're getting older and the cap is going up. They want to make sure that they're getting that big money long term. Now, Sakic is also willing to accept a short-term deal, but he would like to get the RFA signed to a contract before training camp opens up next month, which is generally a good thing. You don't want your players out of training camp. We've seen with William Nylander this year, the Toronto Maple Leafs, that took all the way till December. The Colorado Avalanche don't want to do that with one of their biggest point producers, one of their biggest guys in the room, biggest guys for the team. He doesn't just produce on the ice. He's a guy that can help that locker room. And also, fans. Listen, fans love seeing their favorite players. It helps business as well, so they want to get that done. So Sakic went on to say there's a lot of players in the NHL that are in the same situation. Of course, we know that. A lot of great hockey players that are coming up. We'll just see how all the players and agents handle that. There are comparable numbers that are starting to come in. We're open to different possibilities. Now, this is obvious. Like, Sakic's comments here are pretty general here. We understand that this is going to take a little bit of time, but with the amount of cap space they have, we figured that as fans that there probably would have been a contract done by now or an offer sheet, but we'll get to that in a second. So Colorado Hockey's now, it's a stick tap to Sean Lamba. Adrian Dater cites sources close to the situation. This is from Specters Hockey, claiming there's been no contact between Sakic and Rantanen's agent, Mike Lewitt, and I could be pronouncing that name wrong, but since the NHL draft in June, there hasn't been much contact. He also said the Avalanche haven't made an offer yet. So again, we're not sure here if there's been contact. Again, I'm just reporting what's coming from Colorado Hockey now. Dater, hopefully I'm also pronouncing that correctly, dismissed the notion of a rival club signing the 21-year-old winger to an offer sheet because the Avalanche have a ton of cap space. They have $16.5 million, so they'll easily be able to match. No team is going to go up to like 17 or 18 million. That would be just, come on, guys, like, that's ridiculous. He believes Rantanen will almost certainly command at least $8.5 million per season on his next contract, which is obviously something that he should be looking at. 8.5 seems a little bit fair. Depending on how long the contract is, that number could get bigger. Looking at Rantanen, his points production, 16-17 season, he had 38 points in 75 games. Then the 17-18 season, he had 84 points in 81 games. The 18-19 season is where he got even better. In only 74 games played, he had 87 points. So with a full season, we're looking at a guy that's probably going to have like 95 points. If we're looking at the postseason, the 17-18 season, in 6 games, he had 4 points. In the 18-19 season, he had 14 points in 12 games played. So had a really, really good point production for the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs this past season. So very good for him. I'm excited to see what he does this year as well. Just looking at some more numbers here. He's 6'4", 211 pounds. This is just general stuff on Mikko Rantanen. We all know that he's one of the better players in the NHL, and you know, he's going to get big money, and it's probably going to be a longer-term deal. Now, that's probably what the Avalanche want. So the Specters note here is saying it's kind of unusual that there haven't been any contract talks for 2 months. Mitch Marner needs a deal. Matthew Tkachuk needs a deal. So it makes little sense for Sakic to attempt discussions throughout the summer because there's comparables that aren't getting done yet, although maybe teams want to jump ahead and hopefully get their guy to a cheap deal before some other player comes out and gets a massive contract. So basically what's the general conversation here is that The hope is that Mikko Rantanen's contract gets done in September. They're hoping it gets done before training camp, and I can't see how it doesn't. With that amount of cap space, there's probably a little bit of wiggle room for the Colorado Avalanche, and they're going to explode this year. I think they're going to be just fantastic. With the amount of cap space they have a chance to add at the deadline if they feel like that. They have assets that they can use. They've got a very deep team. They added Nazem Kadri to that squad as well, so they've got a really solid second-line centerman as well. So we'll have to see where they go from there, but moving on. Juuso Välimäki, we heard that he has been injured. The Score, Josh Wegman cites Sportsnet Pat Steinberg reporting that Calgary Flames GM Brad Treliving will consider all options to find a replacement for Juuso Välimäki. I believe he tore his ACL, which is just awful. We don't ever want to see that. Välimäki is 20 years old, so this is a little bit of a scary injury. The guy is pretty young. I mean, I'm 3 years older than him. I can't imagine, knock on wood, I wouldn't imagine how that would feel. Like, that sucks. And I believe it was an ACL tear. But he's 6'2", big defenseman, over 200 pounds. They're very excited for Juuso Välimäki. He's a pretty solid defender. If we're looking at his stats, he only played in the 18-19 season, 24 games played, 3 points. And in the playoffs, he had 1 point in 2 games played. So they're very excited about him, but it sucks. You know, he's going to take a long time to recover. This is going to take months to recover from. Now, they're thinking Oliver Killington, another guy on their blue line, pretty young, 22 years old, defenseman, 6 foot, 183 pounds. Last season for him, he had 8 points in 38 games played. In the 15-16 season, he played in 1 game and didn't have any points. But they're hoping that he'll take a step. He'll be an internal option for them instead of maybe going out for trade possibilities. But the Calgary Flames have had a ton of trade talks recently. Now, Wegman notes that there could be some veterans out there that they could just take a chance on for like the league min, probably like $700,000 for maybe Dion Phaneuf. I don't know if they'd want to do that, but he'd probably be good for the young guys. A lot of people, you say what you want, Dion Phaneuf isn't the best defenseman, but for that cheap, especially if he's just going to be a mentor type of guy and how, you know, to teach the young guys how to be a good professional. I think a lot of people forget that when Marner was just coming into the NHL, Dion Phaneuf took him aside a couple times and just made him feel comfortable and everything like that. So you need guys like that around. But as a stopgap, maybe Phaneuf can play a couple games for them, maybe in the 15 to 20 game range, and then just be a guy that comes in if they ever need him. I think Phaneuf is not too bad as a very cheap option, but the Flames only have $8 million or less, a little bit less in cap space. They need to sign Matthew Tkachuk. That's the biggest thing. They're probably going to move on from Michael Frolik, $4.3 million, so that opens up a bit of space. Maybe they sign a couple low-end, cheaper defensemen. But now with the TJ Brody talks, with the maybe the Travis Hamonic talks, they don't want to move either of those guys. With a hurt blue line, they're going to need to hold on to those guys. So Michael Frolik is going to have to go, which it's kind of obvious that they're going to try to make that move. And then you're going to have to hope that Killington can step up a little bit until Välimäki is better, and maybe sign a guy like Dion Phaneuf or another defenseman, or bring up somebody from the minors as well that you think can fill in that spot. So the Spectres note here, Välimäki's injury should put to rest the trade speculation with TJ Brody, like I was mentioning before. Treliving will conduct due diligence to see what's affordable options. Nevertheless, it sounds like Killington, $730,000 cap hit, basically will be Välimäki's replacement. So if that's what the way they want to go, it probably makes a lot of sense. That Frolik is probably the cost cutting that they need to do. And yeah, that's basically what's in the Spectres hockey NHL trade rumors for August 13th, 2019. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. I'd love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 7,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much. I talk about every NHL team. Lots coming up. The season's getting closer and closer. I know it's August, but it is getting closer. So thank you again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.